Hello and welcome to episode 5 of DniceKnits. My name is Denise and you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as DniceKnits515. I have been gone. I haven't podcast for almost 3 months. So hello to my new viewers and thank you for my returning viewers and my family that watches this even though they don't know anything about knitting. I appreciate it. So I haven't podcast in 3 months, and I always hear podcasts talk about how long it takes and all the work that goes into podcasting, and I didn't know that until I started podcasting. And it takes maybe like 3 to 4 hours to get all the stuff together, to do notes, which I put notes, and to just edit it, although I don't edit much. I just put like the pattern name down below. But it takes a good while. So in April, I picked up a whole bunch of shifts at my job and was doing a bunch of overtime. And then May, you could just throw May away. Goodbye, May. May was stressful. It was expensive. It was my birthday month, and like my birthday day was awesome, but the rest of May, goodbye. Don't even like it. And I didn't knit for like 3 weeks of May. It was just goodbye, May. And then June was the end of school, and my daughter was still home, and now she's in summer camp. So I can podcast. So hopefully I will continue to do this bi-weekly because she'll be in summer camp and I'll have enough stuff to talk about. Today I have a lot to talk about, so it'll be a longer episode for sure because I have so much to talk about. I did a lot of knitting. So I have finished projects, work in progress, and my future knitting. So it's a lot of planning, a lot of stuff. So first is my biggest one, and I'm so proud of this because it's a blanket from my grandmother-in-law, my husband's grandmother, who is so knitworthy. She has so knitworthy. I make her hats and socks and shawls, and she asked for a blanket. And then she went with me to Walmart to pick out the yarn. This is from Walmart. It is just their basic acrylic yarn. I put it away already, so I don't know the name of it, but it is in navy, and then I don't remember but I'll put it down on the screen right here. I'll put down what it is because I don't remember the colorway. So one is variegated, one is solid, and I really don't like variegated yarn because it pools. I don't know if you can see the pooling. You see the pooling? I don't like that. Oh, hi. Sorry. So I don't like that. So I think I used 6 skeins, and there's the ombre color, the variegated color, it has 5 ounces, and the dark color has 6 ounces. So there's leftover of so I used all 3 skeins of the variegated yarn, and I did 2 rows of the dark one and 2 rows of the variegated yarn. And then when I last podcast, I was here. So I did almost half of the yarn, half of the blanket, because is this a cast on it? This is my cast off, and this is the half where my stitch marker is, which is here. Maybe I should flip it over. This is the stitch marker here. This is where it was, and I was done with this by May. So it took me about a month and a half to do the other half, a little less than half of. I'm sorry that the color keeps messing up every time I take myself off of the screen. So it's so thick and heavy, and I love it, and I love the pattern, which I'm definitely going to use again, and that some people in my knitting group have used the pattern too, because it's such a good pattern and it's so easy and mindless, and you can use it while you're watching TV, and it's just great. But that is done. Thank you, Jesus. And then of course I finished it in July because I just cut off all the edges yesterday and I have to wash it and send it to her, or next time I see her, because it's July. She doesn't need it in July. She'll need it maybe in like September, although she's always cold, always. The next finished project is my husband's socks. So for my husband's socks, I do 64 stitches, and this is in Patton's Croy FX in the Cascade colors. So for my husband's socks, I do 64 stitches, and Patton's Croy is a little bit thicker, especially the FX ones. I've noticed they're much thicker. So I use a 2.5 US, a 2.75 millimeter needle, and I do 64 stitches for my husband, and I cast on, I think, 14, and I go down to, I think it's 68 rows. Oh, and I use these stitch markers, again, if you don't remember, to label every 10 rows, because when I first started knitting, there's 2 of them, when I first started knitting socks, they would be uneven, and then like one heel would be higher than the other, and that bothers me. I don't want my socks to be uneven. And I thought that I had finished these. I put away the project bag when I wasn't knitting in May, and I thought I finished these, and then I took them out yesterday because I knew I was going to podcast, and I didn't even finish the ribbing on this one. I didn't finish the ribbing. So I finished the ribbing and I cast off both of them. I have a tendency to do that where I'll just like leave it with the needles in it and not cast off, not sew in the ends, never sew in the ends until I have to give it to people. So yes, so these are my husband's socks. I don't know if there's anything else I want to say about them. Oh, and the ribbing, everybody, I don't know if people remember that I don't like ribbing because I use 9-inch circular needles to make socks, and purling is not fun with those. Like any pattern really is not fun with those, but I just go around and around and around and around and knit and stockinette for the rest of my life, probably. So what I do is I do the ribbing, knit, purl, but this is a 3x1, so 3 knit stitches, 1 purl, and then the next row I just knit it, so that it still does like the bunching in as a rib, so it's like a broken rib. Yeah, so it's a broken rib, and I like it. He likes the ribbing better than the just stockinette socks. He said they feel tighter on his feet, obviously, so they fit him better. And then I have a whole bunch, oh wait, finished projects. So I've decided that this is the summer of Shorty Socks, because in May, I think it was May or June, I decided that I wanted to wear Shorty Socks. I have 2 pairs, and I liked wearing them, and I'm like, why don't I wear my Shorty Socks more? And I should have more. So I made, don't adjust your screens, this is such a bright color. So this is a bright color. This is Regia Flormania, I think that's what it's called. Yes, I don't know the colorway because first was a gift, which was cool, from Marva from my dating group, and then I made a pair, I think 2 years ago, and I didn't save the ball band because I didn't know I was podcasting. I didn't know I was going to podcast 2 years ago, so I didn't save it, and so I made a pair of Shorty Socks. And then these I did a little differently. So when I knit regular fingering weight, I usually do it on 2.5 millimeter needles, a US 1.5, and I do 60 stitches, and then I do 65 rounds after the cast on, and then I do the heel. And then this has, I think it's 10 rows, and it's so low. So I hope after the heel it's only 10 rows of ribbing, and I hope that it doesn't fall into my sock. It doesn't look, fall into my shoes. It doesn't look like it's gonna do that, but that's the worst, when your socks fall into your shoes and you're walking around with your sock in your shoe. So we'll see. I didn't cut it yet. I probably should, but I haven't. And then the other thing I did differently, because one of my Shorty Socks is cast on the way I usually cast on socks, and then this one I've done, I think 2 or 3 times, where it's like an anatomical toe, I think that's what it's called, and you cast on, I think it's 16, and then you only cast on down here. You see that? Like, that's cool. So this is like my left foot, and this is my right foot. Oh, let me do it. My right foot, like that. So yeah, I think that's it. They're Shorty Socks, they're cool. That's that pair. So those are my 3 finished objects. And then for some reason when I started knitting again, I cast on all the things. I wanted to do all the gift socks for people, so that in the month of November and December I'll just do my Christmas socks, because I'm trying to have 24 pairs of Christmas socks. Right now I have like a week's worth of Christmas socks, but I want to every year make more Christmas socks, because Christmas is my favorite time of year, which it is for quite a few people. So I cast on a bunch of socks, and I don't usually have this problem where I don't cast on the second sock, but I don't know what happened. I've cast on a whole bunch of second socks. Oh, what I wanted to say about my Shorty Socks, sorry, is that this only took 39 grams, and I did them in tandem. I think that's what it's called. So I cast this toe on, and I cast on this toe, and then I did this leg, and then the other leg, and then I did this heel, and then the other heel, and then I did the ribbing, then I did the ribbing. And it's not bad. The yarn management is not bad. It's, I knit from, I wind my yarn into a ball, and then I knit from the inside of the ball and the outside of the ball. Usually the inside first and then the outside second. Don't know why I pick it that way, but I do. And it's not that bad. The yarn management is not bad until you get to like the end, or if you get like a yarn vomit from the middle, which is the worst. But so there's that. So sorry. So I'm out of practice. I haven't knit in a while. Podcast in a while. So the next is another shorty sock, but I only did one and I didn't do it in tandem. I think I've started the other sock, but I have no idea where it is right now. But I'll find it, of course. So then there's these. I won this yarn from a podcast. I want to say it's the Pin, Hook, and Needles podcast. Yes. But it was brown. And I don't really wear a lot of brown. Blue, purple, pink, lots of blue, gray, black. Not really brown. Or like yellow. Not really. So I gravitate towards jewel tones. That's the way to say it. So I dyed it blue, and it's showing up much lighter on screen than in real life. It's kind of a green. Ooh, my nails match. Ooh, let's talk about my nails. So I painted my nails. I may or may not have painted my nails because I was podcasting. And because I knew I was podcasting, I think they're called an accent finger. Is usually on your ring finger. I don't know why. But I knew I'd be pointing at things, so I wanted to put the accent nail on my pointer finger. And I make the rules. Nobody makes the rules, right? Like, I can decide where my accent ring goes, accent nail goes. And I bet you these will be chipped in like 2 days from washing dishes. So, tangents. I did my regular toe on these. And I cast on 12, and I go to 60 on the 2.5 millimeter needle, and then I do 65 rows. And this one I think I did 20 after the heel. Yes, I did 20 in ribbing after the heel because it looked like it was gonna fall into my shoe. So I did 20. So when I do the next one, I'll just do 20. And I also count on the ribbing, because if I go over 10 on the ribbing, I lose count. And who wants to do ribbing and not remember where you are? I think that's it. That is it for that. Next, I have my gift knitting, which I knit for my mom. I knit Christmas socks, at least, for my mom, my best friend, my husband, my best friend's husband, and my mother-in-law, and my husband's grandmother. My grandmother-in-law is what I usually call her. So I knit for all those people. So I wanted to get my Christmas knitting out of the way so that I can knit on myself, because I'm kind of a selfish knitter. Most of the time. Well, no, I just said I knit for all those people, so I'm not really a selfish knitter. Sorry. So I knit for my husband, and then I started socks for everybody else. Yeah, and I don't usually have a problem where I knit one sock and not the other. I think I said this already. So yeah, so the first sock I made was for my husband's grandmother, and this is a, what is this called? Drops Fable in colorway 918. Which I think is like emerald stripes or something, and I love this colorway. And Drops Fable is a little thicker, so I don't think I'll have as much yarn left over to make leftover socks, but maybe I'll stripe it with another sock yarn, and I'll get a big enough pair for myself. So once again, 60 stitches, 65 rows, fish lips kiss heel. And then I think I did 50, and then 12 rounds of ribbing. So that's that sock. And then this I got at Walmart in the clearance section, the beading section, and they have like these dollar bins down at the bottom. So they had 3 for $1, which was not bad. And I got blue and red and green. So then for my mom, oh, you'll see the red one. So then see, they had red ones like this. See? So for my mom, my friend Sarah from my knitting group gave me a bag of leftovers that she had, and in the leftovers I put like a square in my Cozy Memories blanket, and then if I had leftovers from that, I put it in my corner to corner blanket. But these leftovers were so big, I was like, I think I have enough to make a pair of socks. So I striped them. So these are for my mom. So I used, this is Deborah Norville in gray, which I think I have somewhere around here. Deborah Norville in a gray. Yes, here they are, in a gray. So I use that for the toe and the ribbing. And then I striped 2 yarns. So I don't know if you can tell. One of them, let me see if I can focus on this. Not my face. One of them is a sparkly yarn. Yes, one of them is sparkly yarn and one is just a regular pink. So it had pink and gray in it, so I thought it'd be cute with the pink. And then I ran out kind of short. But my mom has really skinny ankles, so it might go up kind of high on her. So then I did 20 rows of ribbing because I thought they were kind of short. My mom has almost the same, all these people, my grandmother-in-law, my mom, my mother-in-law, and my best friend all have similar shoe size. My mom is a 7.5, but she said whatever you make is fine. So I just use my own sock pattern for my mom, except when I do her leg, I decrease down, I think, to 52 stitches because once again, my mom has really skinny ankles. So I do the toe up to 60, 65 rows, fish lips kiss heel, and then I decrease to 52 stitches, and then I do the ribbing. So for my mom, I don't know, I probably could have gotten a little bit more, but I was scared that I would run out of yarn, so. Not run out of yarn. Yeah, run out of yarn. So I did the gray, which I think it turned out good. So I just have to do the second sock, which if I had done it in tandem, maybe then I would have used all of the yarn. But if I have extra, I'll just put it in my blankets. My sock yarn blankets. And then I have one sock that I finished that's for my best friend. So these, ooh, wow, that's bright, 2. These are, I love the way that it's striping. I really thought that it would pool, but it's striped kind of, which is really, really cool. I'm glad that it did because I don't like pooling, but it wasn't for me, so who cares if it pooled. And then, see, this is another one of the Walmart charms. So I did this one because this yarn is thinner. This yarn is a Nicole Studio sample from AC Moore, and it's 100% acrylic because my best friend is, I don't think she's allergic to wool, but it's prickly and it bothers her, and that's fine. So I make her acrylic socks, but they're not as comfortable, I think, in my opinion, as the wool socks. So sometimes she'll complain that they leave marks on her foot, and I don't know if that's because it's acrylic or because wool socks don't leave a mark on my foot. But she won't wear wool socks. So because this is a thinner yarn, I used a US 1, which is a 2.25 millimeter, and I went up to 65 stitches, and she has the same shoe size as me. So I start with 12 and I go up to 64, and then I think I did 70. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, 70 rows. See, that's why I have these. So I know, 70 rows, and then the fish lips kiss heel, and then she likes a longer leg too. So I did 60, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 60 rounds, and then the 12 rows of ribbing. So it's a very thin yarn. It's much thinner than, see, this is the Drops Fable. Like, it's much thinner, if you can see that. So that's that one, and so I have to do the second one. So I have this right here. So that takes me into future knitting. So I'm going to do all of these second socks. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 pairs of second socks that I need to make. 4. Yeah. And then I have cast on. So we're going into my works in progress. I have cast on, what's this called? Toe Footsie yarn. This was on sale on, what's it called? DniceKnits.com, and you could get, I think it was 10 skeins for $40. Yes, please. So that's $4 a yard, $4 a pair, because this is, it doesn't look like it, but it says it's 100 grams and it's 425 meters. But it's not all wool. It's 50% superwash wool, 25% soy silk fibers, 22% cotton, and 2.5% chitin. which is a fiber made from shrimp and crab shells and is naturally antibacterial. So my husband can't wear this because my husband is allergic to crab and shrimp. So that's that. So I started this. This is for me. And then I have this sock, this blanket. Yeah, that's all. And then I have my cozy memory blanket that I started. That I've worked on. I don't even know how many. I don't know. I've made a couple of rounds on this. I don't know where I added on. Usually I mark it, but I didn't. And then my other future thing is I have a whole bunch of scraps from my socks that I've made, which is like 30 grams left over. I have like this one and this really pretty one, and I have a whole bag full of 25 to 30 gram leftovers. And I've seen on the Knitting I Love podcast that she makes leftover socks and swapped with other people to get leftovers, and I would love to swap with somebody to get like 35 gram leftovers. Like I have a lot of leftovers, mostly in blue, obviously jewel tones. And then I almost bought black yarn, like black Deborah Norval, so I could have it for heels, toes, and cuffs, or just toes and cuffs, because sometimes the heel I can't deal with that many ends to weave in. So I just want to switch with somebody, swap with someone. So I'm gonna take pictures, and there's a few like swapping groups on Ravelry, so I'm gonna put these pictures on Ravelry. And that is my future plans, is that at work I usually add to my blanket here and there. I have not woven in so many ends, are just hanging. So we'll show you the pretty side. And for me, these are 64 stitches on a 2.5 millimeter needle, 64. So, and then, yep, and then I just decross. This is one of my favorites. It was a Christmas sock. And then I have socks from my friends from knitting group. Hi, Sarah. And what else? Is that all? Oh, I also have, I think that's it. Yeah, that's all I've done, I think. Oh, no, I also have a Shorty Socks that my friend Sarah gave me. And I don't know where the, oh, and I have this. So this is, it's Red Heart Hardened Sole. And I started Shorty Socks, and I'm almost done. So again, I have this. I have these. Do you see the orange ones? And I did Fish Lips Kids Heel, and I'm almost done. It took me 4 days. And I messed up because on this one, yes, this one, I somehow only cast on 54 stitches, and I did all the way up to the heel, and then I was like, what happened? So I had to go all the way back. I was so upset. So I think I could do Shorty Socks in like 3 days, and I do have enough yarn. It was 48 grams. So I think that's all. I'm running out of memory on my camera. So thank you for watching, and if you like and subscribe, more people can see me, and that's all.